Okay, next up is omniscience, and this should be quite a short one really. Now obviously omniscience literally means all-knowing. Its philosophical problems we're going to be discussing again when it comes to Boethius, which is at the end. And there's obviously a lot of links with the things that we've already looked at, namely eternity and omnipotence. Now, the issue with Boethius we're going to be dealing with, particularly the notion of eternity and the atemporal. So what we're going to be looking at here is more of the sort of sempiternal idea, the idea that God is everlasting as opposed to with no beginning and no end. Now, one of the main problems is the problem of free will. Can God truly be omniscient and allow us to have free will? Or, if God knows what is going to take place, are we no longer free? Now, this issue is mainly then to do with the idea of his knowledge and whether it in any way impinges upon the choices that we ultimately make. Can God know the future? Now, the first person we look at, we're only going to be looking at two, is with Swinburne. Now, Swinburne believes that omniscience means knowing anything that's possible, but this does not include knowing the future. Now, we've got a problem straight away here, because we could argue that this doesn't go along with omnipotence, because if God does not know the future, how can he be all-powerful? Similarly, does it actually make sense? Does omniscience not literally mean knowing the future? Now, the reason for Swinburne's point of view is expressly the idea of free will. He believes that if God knew the future, it would have to sacrifice our freedom, that we could not possibly be free to make our own decisions. And the crucial element here is that it would completely sacrifice our relationship. Now, Christianity is based upon relationships, the idea that we have a relationship with God. Now, if we do not have the ability to make our own decisions, then we cannot have a genuine relationship. Namely, if God is aware that certain people are going to ultimately fall from favour, from grace, and turn away from God, well, can he genuinely have that meaningful relationship beforehand? Similar example if just with a couple. A couple enter into a relationship with the best intentions, it lasts 5 years, and they end up getting divorced. If they know what is going to happen, then that is going to severely affect the quality and the meaningfulness of their relationship, and it's going to affect their decision making. So if God has this foreknowledge in this way, then how can we have the genuine relationship? And this leads then to the next big issue, which is that of predeterminism. If God is aware of future events, does this mean that our future is actually predetermined? Has God set out the course for our life, which is something that you look at in ethics? And this is one of the modules where you really can bring in your ethical knowledge. The next person, the final person, is Schleiermacher. Now, Schleiermacher disagrees with Swinburne. Schleiermacher believes that God and his omniscience must mean that God knows everything, including the future. But he does not believe that it necessarily impacts upon our freedom. He believes that God can be omniscient and not affect the free will choices that we make, that we are still responsible. And the example that he uses is that of a couple. What he says is that the closer that a couple knows, that the more intimate that they are, the more likely that they are to be able to predict one another's actions. So in one of their classes we probably would have used Laura and Megan here. Apparently they would know what one of the other would have done, or what they may have said in a given situation. But we all can relate to this. If we are aware of our friends, of our loved ones in a close way, then we are better able to predict how they are going to react. Now, this does not impinge on our freedom, even though we can predict it. It's just that with God, who's omniscient, knows us so well, he knows exactly what we're going to do. But it doesn't actually affect the fact that we are freely choosing to do this. Now, let's go back to the problems. Problem with the fall. If God ultimately knows that we are going to fall, is he not still responsible? And obviously it's got implications for free will, and for a problem of evil, sorry. Now, not much topic, content perhaps, but remember, any question on omniscience, you're going to be talking about eternity in particular, and you're going to be talking about Boethius as well.